All right, hello, welcome to or welcome back, whatever applies. What I do is I sit and I watch a movie, and then I come down and I plop on this raggedy old computer chair and I yak about it. No script, no real editing. It is what it is. Going for raw and natural, and that's for better or worse. So, spoiler alert, you know the drill for spoilers. If there are any, they will be discussed. So this next section, you can skip it past if you don't want to hear spoilers. It's a little annotation in the timestamp that says thoughts. Those are almost always spoiler free. Lately, anyway. Or you can skip right to the rating if you care about that for some reason. Anyway, I watched The Visit. So that's fun. M. Night Shyamalan. I don't really... his movies are kind of hit and miss, right? So how was this one? I guess we'll find out, right? Alright, so let's get into it. So we're introduced to our main characters, essentially, who are brother and sister by the name of Becca and Tyler. And they are excited because they're going to go off and meet their grandparents for the first time ever. Becca is doing like a documentary style thing. Apparently this is a big thing with her mom and her grandparents had a huge fight when the mom was 19 or something, and she ran away or took off or something over like a boyfriend or whatever, and they haven't spoken since. So at one point these grandparents reached out and they wanted to meet their grandkids. So even though the mom is a little bit hesitant about it, the kids wanted to go. So sure, I mean they're not going to hurt the kids, right? Right? Anyway, spoilers or foreshadowing or whatever you want to say. So she takes them off to the train depot and drops them off, and they go on their ride. It must be out of town. It's like a farm. I don't know how far it is from wherever they live, but it's a while away. It's a train ride anyway, so that's got to be kind of far, right? Anyway, they get there and they meet their Nana and their Pop-Pop, as they call them. So that's great. They pick them up and they show them the house, and they're filming around the house saying, oh yeah, this is like, mom's history. We never really got to see where mom grew up. So that's kind of fun, right? So they're looking at like the swing. There's like a tree swing or whatever, and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, the movie is split into days. So they're supposed to be basically from Monday through to Saturday. Either they go home Saturday night or they go home Sunday morning or something. I don't know. Anyway, Monday. So what happens Monday? Well, like I said, they drive to the farm, all that stuff. It's basically an introduction day, essentially, right? Half the day is travel, really. So that's great. Anyway, they're told specifically by Pop-Pop that the basement is full of mold, so don't go in there. They're waiting to get it cleaned out or something like that. Whatever, that's fine. That's not a huge deal. What's in the basement anyway is probably unfinished, right? Who gives a shit? They have a video call with their mom at one point, and the mom's kind of nervous, and the kids are like, listen, they're like super nice, so we're good. Don't stress. You do not have to worry. The mom's like, okay, fine. So she's going on some big cruise with her boyfriend. Is it Miguel? Doesn't matter. He's like barely a character, except for like one screen in the background, so it doesn't matter. We'll say it's Miguel. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Anyway, she's going on a cruise with him or something, and she's really excited because she doesn't really get to do that very often. So the kids are kind of happy for the mom. The mom is nervous, but happy that the kids get to meet their grandparents. That's great. So that's fun. Downside is there's no Wi-Fi really out there. So they can do video calls and stuff by hooking their laptop up directly to like the Ethernet plug hole or whatever, but cell signal, not so much. I mean, it's in the middle of a farm, so that's fair. There's a part where Pop-Pop is doing some farm work or something, and he goes into the shed and whatnot, and Tyler has the camera at this point, and he waves, he's like, Pop-Pop, and he turns and looks, and then turns and doesn't like even respond or anything, and just walks away, and he's like, okay, that's weird. What is in this shed? We need to know, right? So he wants to figure that out at some point. Anyway, the end of the first day, essentially, they say that they're old, so bedtime is 9:30, unfortunately. So that's when we shut her down. The kids are like, oh, okay, that's cool. Meanwhile, when they get to their room, they're kind of like, oh my god, 9:30? What are we gonna do? Like, that's ridiculous. Anyway, it hits like 10:33 or something, and Becca can't sleep. It's way too early, so she gets up and she's gonna go film some of the house at night. And she's even doing a little segment like, this is, the route that Mom would have taken when she snuck out or whatever, to go see her boyfriend or whatever it is. Anyway, we get a scene of Grandma or Nana walking, and then vomiting, like projectile vomiting on the floor. And they're like, oh my god. She goes back in the room, and that's that. They go to bed, I guess, because, that's a nice image to fall asleep on. Anyway, they bring it up to Pop-Pop the next day, so we're Tuesday now. That's very important. They bring it up to him, and as he's doing his farm stuff, and basically he says it's fine. I mean, it's probably just like a seasonal, like a 24-hour flu or something, and they're old, they're a bit more susceptible to that kind of stuff, so she'll be fine though. She seems good that morning, so everything's like, okay, that's fine. The two decide to explore under the house. It's apparently where their mom used to play hide and seek. Cool. Okay, so they start playing hide and seek, and that's when the first weird kind of what the hell thing happens. They're playing hide and seek and hiding, and like Nana's under there, and she starts rushing at them. She's like, I'm going to get you. And I mean, thinking about it now, and you find out shortly after that she's literally like playing with them, but it's done creepily, right? So the kids are panicking, and they crawl out from under the house, and Nana crawls out, and she's laughing. She's like, anyway, I'm making chicken pot pie, so come on in shortly. Cool. Yeah, it's a little creepy, but it's also just the setting, and so they're not totally stressed out about everything yet, but yeah. And then she turns and goes up the stairs, and like her dress is caught and her ass is hanging out, so you see grandma ass. That's fun. Great. So doctor shows up at one point. The grandparents are out on a walk, and the doctor's asking, are your grandparents available or whatever? There was a fundraiser that they were supposed to volunteer at last Saturday, and they didn't show up. And they don't like to admit it, but they're getting older and more tired. I just want to make sure they're okay. And the kids are like, oh yeah, they're fine, they're just on a walk or whatever. We'll tell them you stopped by. Okay, cool. That's good times. Now what happens? Oh yeah, Tyler investigates the shed, and when he gets into it... Okay, so a little side note, Tyler has like a germophobia thing, so this is like double gross for him. He gets into it, and he says, oh, it smells like ass. And he rounds a corner, and there's a table with a mound of used diapers. Or Depends, I guess. Good time. So he's pretty grossed out. Nana later explains that Pop-Pop has incontinence. He's, a very able man, but that's just one thing that in his age he can't fully control. So he kind of hides it, and he ends up burning them in the field or something like that when he gets a chance, or I guess when there's enough of them, or something. I don't know. It's kind of gross, but okay. I mean, that would be a super embarrassing thing to deal with. Still pretty nasty that he doesn't get rid of them immediately. There was literally a mound. There had to be 25, maybe 30 filled diapers. Depends. Ugh. Anyway, whatever. So there's that. So he has incontinence. That's the explanation of that. And then later, Pop-Pop takes them into town, and they go see some of the sights. So they go to their mother's old high school, which is super cool. They're filming around, and Pop-Pop's just kind of looking off. And they're like, "What's wrong? Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, that guy's been looking at us for quite a while. We should go." And the kids are like, "He's not looking at us." And he goes and he wants to investigate, and he starts kind of yelling at this dude and accusing him of, "Why are you following us?" And he shoves him, and the two kids stop him, and he's like, "Pop-Pop, he wasn't even looking at us. It's all good." And they take him home and all that. And so there we go. So they're old, senility might be sitting in or something. It's a thing. That is just one of those things. Anyway, at night they hear some strange noises, and it's like a weird scraping sound or something, and it's outside their room. So they're like, okay, we should see what this is. So they grab the camera. This is all found footage, right? So I mean, everything here is they have the camera, to be completely fair. But yeah, so the camera turns on, you can hear scratching, and they're like, should we like go look what it is? And they open the door, and there's Nana like butt-ass naked. Butt-ass, that's kind of funny. She's butt-ass naked, clawing at the wall. So the kids are like, okay, this is fucked. They shut the door. We don't want to deal with any of that. We don't want to see bare naked grannies. We don't want to see their, senile episodes or whatever. So that's enough of that. They go and talk to. So they wake up Wednesday and they go talk to Pop-Pop, and he basically says that so she's affected with, what is it called? Sun something. It's a form of like dementia. I wish I remember what it was called. It's like sun something. I keep wanting to say sun gazing. I don't think that's what it is. Because that's when you like pretend you're a plant and you say that you like feed off of photosynthesis, which the human body can't do. But yeah, it's something. Anyway, it's like a specific thing, and he says, she has some episodes, and it's basically once it gets dark out, that's when it sort of kicks in mentally. So he says to the kids, like, how about we just make an agreement that you just stay in the room until 9, like after 9:30, just stay in the room. And the kids are like, that's reasonable. They're still, Tyler's a little bit more freaked out, I think, than Becca, but she's, a little older too, so maybe she understands a little bit better that like dementia's a thing. But yeah, Tyler is not super into it. Anyway, they agree to stay in the room, and then they realize that Pop-Pop's getting dressed up. He has like a suit and a bow tie on, and they're like, what are you doing? And he's like, I gotta go to the costume party. And they're like, what are you talking about? Sundowning, that's what it's called. Okay, anyway, he says, I'm going to the costume party. And they're like, there is no costume party. And he's, oh geez. And I guess he snaps out of him, and he's like, oh man, I'm so sorry. They're very apologetic, like that their mental deterioration is causing, maybe some issues with the hangout. This is the first time they're meeting their grandkids. I got sympathy, and he's like, it's all good. It's all good. Anyway, they video call the mom again, and the mom basically confirms, they're just kind of weird. Like, they do weird things. She seems not super bothered about it, but what they're explaining is like, it's, they're older. Like, the diaper thing is a thing. Like, that's, and the sundowning or whatever, I guess, is a thing. Anyway, she doesn't seem too concerned, so the kids are like, okay, that's fair. Anyway, Becca is with Nana in the kitchen or something, and she asks about her mom, and Nana's just completely quiet, ignores it entirely, then walks over to the stove and opens it and says, hey, can you clean out the inside of the stove for me? And Becca's like, okay, well, yes, in her head, she's like, all right, so mom's a sensitive subject, fair enough. We know the backstory a little bit. We don't know the details of it, of why they never talk again, but we know that there was an incident, so that's fine. So she says, okay. She gets down, she gets cleaning in the inside, and she's like, Nana's kind of like, you have to get really in there. So she's like, okay, so like half of her is in there, and then Nana's like, no, like get all the way in the oven. And of course I'm thinking, what the fuck? But no, we don't have any roast children. She gets inside and cleans it and gets out, and everything's good. So that's fun. Later they, I think at one point Nana explains that she spilled some like batter, like biscuit batter on her laptop, so like the camera's damaged, and she tried to clean it with cleanser or cleaning product, and it, long story short, the camera on the laptop is damaged now, or at least it's like got crusty things or something. Anyway, it does end up working again later, but for now it's not in the greatest condition. I guess they clean it off later or something, but anyway, that's fine. They look up sundowning, and they find out like, it's a legitimate thing apparently. I didn't look it up to see if it was, but I'm going to just take their word for it right now. So sundowning's an official thing, so they start worrying a little bit less. They're like, okay, well, this is, they're nice people during the day, and they have their issues, but, we're not in any kind of danger and whatever, so that's great. Anyway. Nana agrees to an interview, and they start off with light questions like, if you could be an animal, what would you be? And Nana's like, a grizzly bear, and they laugh, and then they're like, how did you meet Pop-Pop? And she explains the whole story, and then she says, so what happened between you and Mom? And then she starts like almost seizuring. Okay, so they change the subject real quickly. Kate, we're not gonna talk about that anymore. No more questions about her. I'm sorry, whatever. Anyway, Tyler at this point, near the end of the day, is like, I'm going to hide the camera. I want to film what goes on when we're in our rooms, etc. Becca shuts it down right away. The whole thing about filmmaking, I guess she's taking it very seriously. You don't want to hide cameras. You want consent. You know, if basically the rule is if we're not on the film or behind the camera, we're not filming it. So that's good on her morally. Anyway, that's fine. That happens. Night comes and they hear noises again, and they hear running footsteps going all around the house, and they open the door and you see Nana run by a couple of times, and okay, she's doing her laps, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, cut to Thursday. That was a long day, Wednesday. Anyway, Thursday. Thursday, they go on a nature trail, and Nana stops, and she's looking at this well, and they can see Pop-Pop kind of pulling her, like, come on, let's go, let's keep going. And they go back to the well later, and they pull it up, and it's literally just water. Like, why was she standing there staring at it? We don't know. And they never touched on that again. So they're just adding things, I guess, to make it seem like dementia, which is, you know, good. Nothing exciting about that. Anyway, the kids interview each other, and they end up talking about their father, and Tyler's like, you know what, I'm not mad at him. You know, he left, but I don't hold it against him or whatever. And meanwhile, then we cut to Becca being interviewed, and Tyler's like, why don't you look at yourself in the mirror? Do you, like, hate yourself or something? That triggers this whole thing. Anyway, we get the backstory of when her father left, Becca got, like, a card, and that's it. And she's always held that against her father. Cool. What does that contribute to the story? I don't know. Anyway. I mean, it kind of does, but not. Anyway, let's move along. So, what's the next weird thing that happens? Tyler's convinced something's up still. Like, what's in the basement? And then they're interrupted by another visitor. This is a woman by the name of Stacy, who's also from the volunteer group or whatever. And she's like, yeah, so your grandparents, you know, they weren't there last Saturday. Same deal as the doctor from before. And no, they're out or whatever. And okay, that's fine. We'll come back later. Later, Becca hears her grandma or her Nana laughing, and I guess assumes she's watching TV, and she goes in a room, and there's Nana on a rocking chair facing a blank wall, and she's laughing her ass off. And she says something about the deep darkies, and it's like, what the hell is that? Becca comes in and is like, Nana, what the hell's going on? Like, are you okay? It's like, yeah, I have to laugh to keep the deep darkies away or something like that. I don't even know what that means. But then she takes her little head shawl thing and starts, like, trying to smother herself. So obviously Becca yanks it away, and what's that all about? Cool. That's great. And she says, yeah, you have to laugh to keep the deep darkies down or something. I don't remember exactly what she says, but it's really weird. What are the deep darkies? We don't ever know. So that's one. Wonderful. And they go to Pop-Pop, and he's cleaning a gun, and he seems startled. He's like, I'm just cleaning it, I swear. Okay, why are you so, like, defensive about it? Anyway, they talk to him about it, and he says, okay, I'll go check on her or whatever. So the kids are like, okay. So they agree, finally, that they're going to put the camera out. I guess too much weird stuff is happening. So after nightfall, they do that. And they capture Nana downstairs, walking to, like, the basement door and opening and shutting it, like, multiple times. And then she goes off screen and then pops up and goes, ah, to the camera. Jump scare. Good times. And she takes the camera and a knife and takes the camera upstairs, puts the camera on the ground, goes up to the bedroom door where the kids are staying, and bangs on the door once, bangs on the door again, and there's a couple of bangs. The kids are kind of like, what the fuck? Anyway, they look at the camera the next day, so let's cut to Friday. They look at the camera and they see all this, and they're like, okay, this is too weird. We're leaving today. We're not staying till Saturday night or whatever. We have to get out of here. So they interview Pop-Pop, and he talks about working in a factory or something, and then he goes off into some weird story where he saw a white thing running around. Nobody else saw it, just me. It had yellow eyes, and it was running around, and eventually he got fired. Well, the fuck does that mean, a white thing running around with yellow eyes? Anyway, he seems really sad, and they're like, are you okay? And they're like, yeah. He says, yeah, I'm just, this is almost over. You know, you guys are leaving soon, whatever. And they're like, okay, fair enough. Interesting. Tyler's stressed because there's like, he now thinks that his Pop-Pop is schizophrenic. He's seeing shit, right? So that's concerning. And then later he sees them, the two of them, arguing with that Stacy woman that came over in the front yard, and they're like going at it pretty good. They don't know what that's all about. Anyway, they interview Nana again, and she tells this story about a pond where there has little creatures in it from another planet, and they spit into the water, and anyone swimming in the water will fall asleep, and then these creatures will store all the sleeping people at the bottom of the pond and take them back to their planet. And she even says like a planet name that I don't know, just made up off the top of her head, or schizophrenia believes this, I don't know. Anyway, and she says it's just a story though. Okay. So she tries to bring up the relationship with the mom again, and Nana starts hitting herself in the head, and she's like, okay, let's talk about it like a story. Nana calms down. She tells the story, like, there was this girl who was seeing this guy, and your parents didn't like the guy, and they got into an argument, and the girl left, and, you know, what would you do if you were in this story, if you were in this situation? And Nana basically says, I would forgive the girl. So, okay. Obviously, that's, you know, the story is literally the story of what happened to the mom and the parents, so that's great. Anyway, she'd forgive the little girl. That's good. So anyway, they Skype with the mom, and they urgently ask her to come get them, like, right now. And the mom's like, it'll take me, like, hours to drive down there. Like, what's the issue? And they tell them everything that's wrong, and, like, something's seriously wrong. And the mom, I guess, she's back from her cruise now, so the mom is kind of like, okay, where are they now? And they're like, they're in the front yard or something. I'll show you. And they bring the camera. I guess it's clear enough for them to see, and they show, and they bring the camera back into the kitchen, and they're like trying to tell stories, and the mom just basically like cuts them off and says, listen, I need you guys to listen very carefully. That's not Nana and Pop-Pop. They're like, what? Like, are those the people you've been staying with this whole time? Kids are like, yeah. Alright, so mom tries to call the police while she's on the video call, and it's a small town, so gets the answering machine, which is kind of interesting. And she's like, oh, fucking small towns. So it's like, okay, I'm leaving right now. I will likely get there by tonight. It's a long-ass drive. Leave, go to a neighbor's or something. Like, just be safe. I'll keep trying the cops as I'm coming. So, okay, cool. Brief tea break. Uno momento, por favor. Yummy. Anyway, I haven't coughed yet. This is good. Maybe I'm done being sick. Anyway, so that happens. Where did I leave off? Yeah, the mom goes. Yeah, and then Pop-Pop enters right after the call, and he's like, why don't we play a board game tonight? It's our last night together. So I guess they are going Saturday, but, you know, the sooner they're out of there, the better, right? Why don't we play a board game? You know, it'll be real fun. And he's all excited, and then Nana's like, and you'll help me clean, right? And they're like, okay. Alright. So that's fun. Night falls, the oven cleaning thing happens again, but this time Tyler's there to see it, and he's kind of like, this is fucked up. And then, this time, when she crawls all the way in, does the whole same thing again, the grandma shuts the door of the stove and starts cleaning the top of it. And obviously Becca's kind of like, Nana, can you let me out, please? And she does open the door, so no fried children. We don't have fried children in this movie. Lets the kid out, and they're kind of like, what the fuck? Anyway, game time. Great, they're gonna play Yahtzee, and there's, you know, brief Pop-Pop's going on about how he's the Yahtzee master, and then there's like, is it Milton Bradley or Hasbro who made the game or something like that? And anyway, that's great. Nana says that, like, you know, be careful, Pop-Pop is very, very competitive, be warned. Becca excuses herself to, I can't remember why she excused herself, but she has a reason. I think that her camera battery's dying or something, so I'm just going to get another camera. Anyway, she goes to redo the camera battery and whatnot. And meanwhile, her plan is, let's go into the basement and see what's going on. And when she does go into the basement, she finds pictures of two elderly people that must be her real Nana and Pop-Pop. That's concerning. So she's calling out, like, maybe they're like tied up down here. They don't know. It's like, Nana, Pop-Pop, whatever. Are you down here, etc. Upstairs, Nana's having kind of a. The three of them are still playing the game, and then Pop-Pop shits himself and excuses himself very slowly. Everyone acts like nothing happened. That's great. And then Nana starts getting all weird again. What does she do? I don't remember. Just weird shit going on. Like, oh, my eyes. What is wrong with my eyes? It doesn't matter. Anyway, she has an episode, and like, she's at one point when Pop-Pop comes back, she's like frozen, like with her hand in the air. And Tyler's obviously like, what the fuck? And Pop-Pop takes her up to bed. That's great. Tyler goes to... back down in the basement. Becca ends up finding the bodies of her actual grandparents, and that's when Pop-Pop is down there and start telling her about the thing with yellow eyes. The white thing with yellow eyes was real, and no one believes me, and it's just like, what the fuck is going on? Anyway, he ends up telling her that, obviously the jig is up. They're obviously not the grandparents, so he says, she's had a rough time and she deserved 1 week of being a grandma or something like that. So I guess this is something that he did for his partner. Killed an innocent elderly couple and took their place to meet these kids. And he's like, yeah, they had gone on about what good kids you are, and I just wanted to, have this for her or something like that. Anyway, there's this whole scene, and he grabs Becca and locks her in a room, and she's locked in the room with Nana, who's having her episodes, and so that's fun. She's clawing from under the bed, trying to grab her, and under the blankets and shit, and it's like, what the hell? And then she literally attacks her. Becca ends up breaking a mirror and stabbing her Nana in self-defense, so that's great. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, I don't know who's having a worse time, in all honesty. Pop-Pop comes back and he basically takes his pants off and his diaper off and puts his pants back on and has the diaper in his hand, and he's like, yeah, I hear you got an issue with germs, huh? And puts the diaper in his face. Yeah, nope. That was vile. Anyway, Becca upstairs. Now that Nana's dealt with, she uses something to break the lock off the door or something and goes downstairs and sees Pop-Pop, and he's like, I never liked you to Tyler, and she tackles him and knocks him, but he's, an adult. Even though he's old, he still overpowers her, and that's when Tyler snaps out of his, shock and, whatever it is, and rushes Pop-Pop and, tackles him a couple of times into the fridge, and then opens the fridge door and starts slamming his head in the fridge door. You don't see any of that because the camera that's filming it is resting somewhere, so you see the counter, and most of the stuff is behind it, but you see the legs out and the slamming of the thing. And anyway, then they hear sirens and the police are coming and everything's groovy, and they go outside and it's raining, so I guess the shit gets washed off his face. Ugh, gross. They meet their mom, they hug, all that fun stuff, and yeah, that's it. Then we have one last scene where they interview the mom, and the mom basically tells the story finally about why they haven't talked. Apparently, she had hit her mom when her mom got in front of the door. You can't leave, you're 19 or 18 or whatever. And she struck her mom, and her dad, I guess, got triggered and struck her. And she left, so there's an altercation. It wasn't a fist fight or anything. Still kind of unhealthy and fucked up, but anyway, the parents apparently tried to reach out multiple times, and the mom would have nothing to do with it, and she's telling the kids basically, you went there to get me forgiveness or make things better again. You didn't have to do that, even though, the parents are dead now, so it doesn't even matter. But anyway, there's that, and then there's some clips of, she tells them not to hold on to anger, and then we see some clips, I guess, that Becca spliced in of her and her dad before the dad left. I guess that's a symbol of her forgiving her dad or what have you. And then we get Tyler rapping about the whole thing with a warning that says, "My brother insisted on including this at the end." So he does a little rap about the diaper thing that happened to him. That's nice. And then the credits roll, and that's the movie. All right. What did I think of this one? This requires another sip. Well, a lot of movies, I don't remember if it started around this time, but I know there was a period of time where a lot of movies were about making old people scary. And I'm not sure where this one falls in on that timeline. I haven't seen many of those films, but I don't know. It never was really an issue to me, but a couple of people that I know have actually commented on that stuff, so that's interesting. Not having seen many of those movies myself, I can't really compare this one to those, so I don't know if it's the tropes were all there that's in 6 other movies and if they did them better or not. I can only go on, I watched this film. So, that being said, the twist was a relatively small twist. Not super small. This is the spoiler-free section, so I'm not going to say what it is, but I wasn't exactly thinking this is what the twist is, but when it was revealed, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So, as far as Mr. M. Night's what to twist things go, this is not one of the more dramatic ones, in my opinion. The film, for the most part, felt pretty grounded. There were some scenes that I could tell they were trying to make seem like, oh, is there something supernatural going on? And some of the things that are said makes it kind of sound like that a little bit, but it's not really, or is it? I don't know. Again, I guess you'd have to watch the film to find out, but they do try to hint at that. So that's fun. I always love supernatural things, but I'm good with not too. Anyway, whatever, doesn't matter. It's just a little thing there. They did seem like genuinely nice grandparents throughout the thing, so they played their part pretty good, and then when things started getting weird, they got weird, so how do you judge that for acting? I don't really know. The kids were okay for the most part. They weren't unbelievable. The thing about child actors is there are very few that are phenomenal. These ones were pretty good, though. They were believable, so no issues with acting on any part of it. It is found footage, so you either like found footage or you don't. I do, so that was kind of a tiny little bonus for me, which is great. And it was done in a reasonable manner. They weren't filming for, no point. There was always kind of a purpose to the scenes that were actually on film, so that's good. Well, for the most part, anyway. Let's see, what else can I say? The escalation of weird shit happening was pretty good. It starts off okay, that's odd, and then by the end of it, you're like, what the fuck? So, pretty good escalation. It's a little slow at first, but then it ramps up pretty quickly. So, if you're yawning or checking your phone or something, just give it a chance. Put your phone down. It'll get better. Pretty quickly, actually. What else can I say? There was they relied a little bit too heavily on jump scares, I think, which is fine. They weren't bad jump scares, but it felt like they didn't have enough really to go by without the jump scares, in my opinion. That being said, I still did enjoy the film, and if you're wondering if you should watch it or not, if you haven't, I would say give it a watch. There's some weird shit in there. Like I said, I'm not super familiar with the old people is scary trope of that time period, or I think it was that time period, so again, I can't compare it to other films, but this one as a standalone, not compared to anything, was watchable and kind of fun in a twisted way, obviously. That said, what should I rate this guy? Oh, I guess the backstory. I should talk about the backstory too. So the backstory is there. It's there so that the rest of the film takes place. You need something to initiate. Why are they going and filming this? Why is it a big deal? And for the most part, good enough, passable. They didn't really need something complex, so they didn't really have something complex. And you know what? It works. Now let's go to the rating. 6. Yep, that's it. 6. Cool. Another one down. That's it. Not even gonna elaborate why it's 6. Just it's a 6. That's all it is. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. The Visit. Check it out. It's weird.